There was a time when the aroma of Subway's freshly baked bread flooded the streets of cities around the world. With more than 40,000 restaurants scattered around the world, the submarine sandwich chain became the largest in the world in number of locations, surpassing even McDonald's. Its green and yellow colors shone on every corner, a symbol of affordable fast food and, according to its slogan, fresh. But those same corners that once proudly displayed the Subway sign are now witnessing franchise closures, empty storefronts, and a silence where the hustle and bustle of hungry customers once resounded. Throughout this journey, we will explore how two friends with a $1,000 loan created a global brand, the impact of the famous footlong of $5, the internal scandals that shook its foundations, the emerging competition that threatened his reign, the death of its founder, the sale of the company and its current situation, and the lessons learned from this business roller coaster. Brand origins. Subway's history dates back to the summer of 1965 in the city of Bridgeport, Connecticut. A 17-year-old boy named Fred DeLuca had a simple but urgent dream to raise money to pay for his college degree. Desperate to raise funds, he asked for advice and help from a family friend, Dr. Peter Buck, a nuclear physicist. Buck proposed a bold plan: open an underwater sandwich shop. With an initial loan of just $1,000 from Buck, DeLuca opened Pete's Super Submarines on August 28, 1965, unaware that he was planting the seed of a future fast food giant. The first day of trading was promising. They sold more than 300 sandwiches at a price of less than $1 each, a sign that the idea had potential. Buoyed by the initial success, Fred and Peter soon opened a second location in 1966. Both entrepreneurs set an ambitious goal from the beginning: to have 32 stores in 10 years, inspired by the story of another New York entrepreneur who owned a similar chain. That goal seemed distant, but it motivated them not to give up, even when sales faltered. In fact, when the first store had difficulties due to its poor location, instead of closing it, they decided to open a second one on a busier street. The strategy worked. The new location attracted more customers from day one and, surprisingly, also boosted sales of the first restaurant. In 1968, with several locations already operating in Connecticut, the founders renamed the business a shorter, catchier name, Subway. The term alluded to both submarines, a common name for their elongated sandwiches, and the metro system, hinting at speed and mobility. By 1972, the brand was fully identified as Subway and was gaining popularity in the region for its personalized and affordable snacks. However, reaching the ambitious expansion target required a new approach. Thus, in 1974, DeLuca and Buck adopted the franchise model and opened the first Subway franchise store in Wallingford, Connecticut. This step marked a turning point. By allowing other entrepreneurs to operate premises under the Subway brand, expansion began to accelerate beyond what the two partners could achieve alone. Business boom. Once the foundations were laid, Subway entered a period of explosive growth during the 1980s and 1990s. The small regional chain became a national and international phenomenon thanks to the franchise model. Subway reached 200 restaurants in 1981 and crossed the 1,000 store threshold by 1987. Just a year later, in 1988, it already operated 2,000 franchises, and in 1990, it celebrated the opening of its 5,000th store. International expansion also began in those years. The first Subway outside the United States opened its doors in 1984 in the distant Kingdom of Bahrain in the Middle East, followed by the arrival in Canada in 1986. Soon, green and yellow Subway signs began to appear in Europe, Latin America, Asia, and beyond. During the 90s and 2000s, the chain colonized cities large and small everywhere. By 2010, Subway had more than 33,000 restaurants in the world and had officially surpassed McDonald's as the fast food chain with the most establishments globally. Subway's proposal resonated deeply with the public. It offered an apparently healthier alternative to traditional hamburger fast food. With its slogan, "Eat Fresh," and the ability to customize each sandwich with vegetables to taste, Subway promoted itself as the choice of the health-conscious consumer. This healthy image got its biggest boost with the story of Jared Fogle, a young man who claimed to have lost more than 100 kilos by eating almost exclusively on Subway. From the year 2000, Jared became the brand's star spokesman, starring in countless advertisements as the man who lost weight thanks to turkey and vegetable submarines. His inspiring case attracted legions of customers and cemented the perception of Subway as the healthy fast food chain. In those years, the business did not stop breaking records. Global sales reached an all-time high, about $18 billion annually in 2012, and by 2024, system-wide sales were about $16.6 billion. Subway operated in more than 100 countries. The pace of openings seemed unstoppable, to the point that in many places it was difficult to walk a few blocks without running into the unmistakable green and yellow logo. Subway even surpassed all its rivals in number of stores, becoming a symbol of franchising success. The impact of the $5 footlong. In 2008, Subway starred in a memorable chapter that further boosted its boom, although in the long run it would prove to be a double-edged sword. In the midst of the economic downturn that year, the chain launched a promotion that would become legendary, the $5 footlong, any 30-centimeter sandwich for just $5. The offer was accompanied by an extremely catchy advertising jingle, that English melody of $5 footlong. That was played on radio and TV, and soon became embedded in the collective memory. The success was immediate and overwhelming. For crisis-hit consumers, being able to eat lunch with a $5 bill was a blessing, and millions flocked to Subway attracted by the bargain. In just 1 year, the promotion generated billions of dollars in additional sales and helped Subway weather the economic storm better than many competitors. The $5 footlong not only boosted sales during the Great Recession, but it became part of popular culture, a synonym for unsurpassed fast food offerings. However, the success of this initiative also sowed the seeds of future problems. Customers became accustomed to paying very little for a footlong, which then made it difficult for Subway to raise the prices of those sandwiches without angering its faithful. In addition, many franchisees complained that selling subs so cheaply squeezed their profit margins, especially as ingredient costs rose. Years later, when Subway tried to reinstate the footlong promotion at $5 in 2018, hundreds of franchisees protested, claiming that price was already unsustainable. Still, at the time, the $5 submarine campaign was a milestone that cemented Subway's dominance in the late 2000s, demonstrating the power of slick marketing and aggressive pricing. Scandals and internal problems. By the mid-2000s, Subway's bonanza began to show cracks. In 2014, sales stagnated and, for the first time in its history, Subway began to close more stores than it opened, from 2016 onwards. The brand had saturated the market. It had so many locations so close that its own franchises competed with each other for the same customers, and the average turnover per restaurant decreased. The sandwich giant, which once seemed unstoppable, was starting to lose ground. Along with the financial problems, Subway was rocked by scandals that damaged its public image. The most notorious was the case of Jared Fogle. For 15 years, Jared had been the friendly face of Subway, narrating how his subs made him slim. But in 2015, that inspiring story took a macabre turn. Fogle was arrested and later convicted of crimes related to child pornography and child abuse. Subway immediately parted ways with its once-star spokesman, but the damage was done. The idea of Subway as a family and healthy brand suffered a very hard blow when its name was associated with such a sordid scandal. There were other controversies. In 2014, the company faced criticism for using a chemical additive in its bread, azotocarbonamide, that was also used in the manufacture of yoga mats. Faced with consumer outrage, Subway announced that it would remove the substance from its ingredients. In 2013, a customer discovered that their footlong was not exactly 30 centimeters but about 28 centimeters, triggering a class action lawsuit and headlines ridiculing the brand for falling short. Even Subway's tuna was called into question in 2021, when a lawsuit surfaced alleging that the tuna salad didn't actually contain tuna, stoking mistrust about the quality of its products, though the company vehemently defended the authenticity of its tuna. Conflicts were also brewing behind closed doors. The relationship between the head office and the franchisees became increasingly strained. Many restaurant owners questioned corporate decisions that affected their profitability. For example, when Subway tried to reinstate the footlong promotion at $5 in 2018, numerous franchisees raised their voices against it, arguing that the price was no longer viable for them. These frictions showed a gap between the strategies dictated from above and the harsh reality of those who operated the premises on a day-to-day basis. By the late 2000s, Subway was grappling with a dangerous cocktail: declining sales, massive store closures, battered brand reputations, and disgruntled franchisees. The sandwich empire was going through an unprecedented crisis after decades of apparent invincibility. Emerging competition. Subway's downfall was also accelerated by fierce competition in the fast food market. As the 2010s progressed, the gastronomic landscape evolved, and new players competed for the palate of consumers. On the one hand, rivals specializing in sandwiches emerged and began to take market share from Subway. Emerging chains such as Jimmy John's or Jersey Mike's offered gourmet sandwiches with fresher and higher quality ingredients, a proposal that contrasted with Subway's standardization. These younger brands grew rapidly, capturing customers who were looking for a more artisanal or flavorful sandwich experience. On the other hand, the wave of fast casual, fast food restaurants with a modern and healthy approach also took its toll. Chains like Panera Bread showed that you could eat fast in more welcoming environments and with quality ingredients, taking away Subway's perceived monopoly on a healthy option in fast food. Subway was no longer the only lightweight alternative to traditional burger joints. Even in the realm of price and convenience, where Subway once reigned supreme thanks to its massive number of outlets, competition intensified. Supermarkets and convenience stores began selling fresh and inexpensive sandwiches. In addition, home delivery services made it easy to order all kinds of options to your doorstep in minutes. The empire that Subway had built found itself surrounded by trends and competitors that made it less relevant. The consumer of 2020 was looking for more than just the usual sandwich, and Subway was paying the price for not innovating at the same pace. The death of Fred DeLuca. In September 2015, Subway lost its captain and co-founder amid this turbulence. Fred DeLuca died on September 14, 2015 at the age of 67, after a 2-year battle with leukemia. His death marked the end of an era for the company. DeLuca had run Subway with a steady hand since 1965, personally shaping the chain's culture and expansion strategy for 5 decades. Employees and franchisees described him as a visionary yet demanding leader, whose presence was felt in every corner of the business. With his departure, Subway was left for the first time without its original guide, just as it was going through one of the most delicate moments in its history. The succession in leadership initially fell to Suzanne Greco, Fred's sister, who took over the reins of the company after Fred's death. Greco, with years of experience within Subway, tried to continue his brother's legacy and implemented initiatives to modernize the business. But the challenges Subway faced, from falling sales to the need to reinvent itself against new rivals, were formidable. Despite the efforts of the new management, the company failed to curb the negative inertia immediately. In 2018, Greco retired, and Subway appointed an external CEO to the founding family for the first time, seeking a fresh perspective to reverse the situation. Fred DeLuca's absence was deeply felt. The figure who for years personified the tenacious and entrepreneurial spirit of Subway was no longer there to set the course. Added to his loss was the death of Dr. Peter Buck, the company's other co-founder, in November 2021, symbolically closing the chapter of Subway's pioneers. The channel thus entered a new stage without its patriarchs, clinging to its legacy but aware that it needed a change of helm to survive. Recent sale of the company and current situation. After nearly 60 years under the control of the founding families, Subway has recently changed hands. In August 2023, the sale of Subway to private equity firm Roark Capital was announced for a sum close to $9.6 billion. This operation ended Subway's history as a family business. Roark Capital, known for owning other restaurant chains, took on the challenge of revitalizing the brand. The sale was completed in 2024, marking a major milestone. For the first time, Subway belonged to investors outside of DeLuca and Buck's original vision. Under his new management, Subway laid out a transformation plan to regain ground in the competitive fast food sector. Globally, some encouraging signs began to appear. In 2023, Subway achieved a slight net increase in its number of restaurants globally. This rebound was driven above all by expansion into high-potential international markets, such as an ambitious agreement to open thousands of new stores in China over the next decade. In contrast, in the United States, the number of stores continued to decrease to around 20,000, well below the peak of previous years, with 19,502 stores at the end of 2024 and approximately 20,378 in July 2025. These cuts, while painful, are part of Subway's strategy to clean up business and strengthen stronger locations. On the sales side, Subway has signaled signs of improvement. In recent quarters, its comparable sales in existing stores, showed modest growth, suggesting that change initiatives are beginning to take effect, with a 6.4% increase in global comparable sales in 2023 and an all-time record average volume per unit AUV of $490,000 in the United States in 2024. The company implemented the largest menu revamp in its history with the Eat Fresh Refresh campaign in 2021, introducing higher quality ingredients and modernizing its recipes, and eliminated some unpopular products. In 2022, it introduced a line of pre-designed subs called the Subway series to simplify the menu and streamline service. At the same time, Subway invested in modernizing its stores with the new Fresh Forward design, incorporating a brighter aesthetic and digital tools, self-order kiosks, mobile applications, to adapt to new consumer habits. Subway's current situation is that of a company in the midst of a metamorphosis. While it no longer boasts the same brilliance of its glory years, it is still a major player. With approximately 37,000 restaurants worldwide and a presence in more than 100 countries, Subway retains a huge global footprint. Its new owners are looking to capitalize on that scale, optimizing operations and adapting the brand to the demands of the modern consumer. It remains to be seen if Subway manages to consolidate its comeback. At least, the change of hands and reforms offer a glimmer of hope that this dormant giant can resurface. Epilogue: Lessons learned. The story of Subway's rise and fall leaves several lessons. It shows that even the largest business empires can falter if they don't keep up with the times. In Subway's case, the formula that worked for years, aggressive expansion, immutable menu, and focus on low prices, ended up backfiring on it as the market and consumer preferences changed. Therefore, constant innovation and reinvention are vital for survival in the fast food industry. It also highlighted the risks of growing uncontrollably. The oversaturation of the market and neglecting the profitability of each store eventually took their toll, weakening the chain from within. Another lesson of this saga is the enormous value of reputation. It takes years to build public trust, but only an instant and a scandal to crack it. Subway cultivated an image of healthy fast food that was hit by negative revelations, from questioned ingredients to the criminal conduct of a spokesman. Taking care of the quality of the product and reacting transparently to crises is essential, as bad publicity can be devastating. Finally, Subway reminds us of the importance of leadership and generational adaptation. The loss of its founder left the company without its historic helmsman just in difficult times. Having a succession plan and a team capable of innovating and straightening the course is crucial to surviving business storms. Although Subway was slow to respond to its problems, the arrival of new owners and the willingness to change show that it is never too late for a positive turn. In conclusion, the rise and fall of Subway is a story of ambition and warning. It talks about how a brilliant idea conquered the world, but no advantage lasts forever without evolution. For everyone, Subway's journey from resounding success to struggle to survive offers valuable lessons about innovation, humility, and resilience.